Welcome to Self-Worth Club, the podcast that empowers you to believe in yourself and your work. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, creative, or simply looking to cultivate greater self-worth, Self-Worth Club is for you. Join us each week as we empower you to believe in yourself and unlock your full potential. Hey guys, I am super excited to be talking to you today about comparison because I feel like this is a topic that affects a lot of people. You know, it's really easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing and compare yourself, and it's something that honestly we've been doing our entire lives, but comparison is a real bitch. It is time to get a hold of it. So, we're going to dive right in. I know that every single one of you out there has faced this beast at one time or another in your lives, and maybe it's something that you struggle with regularly. That is not uncommon. Just like I said a second ago, it is something that so many people struggle with. I see this with a lot of my clients, and we're going to tackle this together. So, really, we start as children by comparing our toys with our friends' toys, where their family goes on vacation, what your family does. And then in school, we start by comparing test scores. And I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that there were definitely times where I studied my ass off for a test, got tutoring, the works, and then you get your test scores back and you see your friends and they did worlds better than you and you feel like they didn't even have to try. Like, they're just talking about how easy it was. They didn't even have to study for it barely, like, blah, blah, blah. And you're sitting here like, oh my God, I worked my butt off for this and didn't even do a fraction of as good as they did. Like, then you start telling yourself the story of maybe I'm not as smart as they are. Maybe school's just not for me, you know, this and that. And you dig yourself into a hole and it makes you feel so beaten down and inadequate. I've been there. And you can relate this to a lot of different things in your life. Comparing yourself to other people, you know, it never works out in your favor. And the thing is, most of the time, the grass isn't always greener. It's fake. We're going to get into that in a minute. But we all have different traits and unique qualities about ourselves. And there's so many different things that we are better at or worse at than other people. And that's what makes us us. That is what makes you special. We have to work on finding those gifts, finding what makes us special and unique, and then working to nurture them. Stop trying to be the best at everything and instead figure out what you are good at, what lights you up, what feels good, and then hone in on that thing. Hone in on what you're naturally good at. Because doing this is going to help you so much in feeling aligned and happy with what you do every day and the path that you're on in life. Another point I want to emphasize when it comes to comparison is that everything is curated and is absolutely online, I'll say. Everything online is curated and is absolutely not the full picture of people's lives. And that's what I meant when I said the grass isn't always greener. Sometimes it's fake. Okay? People are curating their profiles online. They pick and choose what you get to see. And I know I try my best personally to be genuine and share some of the hard moments as well, but I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm definitely not sharing all of them. That would be kind of crazy to even think about doing. You know, anytime I get in a fight with my partner or I'm feeling like sad about something, I get let down, you know, I have a setback, like I try to share them when I feel they're going to really help people and when other people can relate and I can like teach a lesson from it. Because I want my audience to know that like I go through these things too and you're not alone. A lot of the things that I coach about and teach about, it's all coming from past experiences and me getting through it myself. But I'm definitely not sharing every single little failure or moment of doubt or fight or whatever that is. The picture on social media is definitely more positive. But that's really because we love to share what makes us happy, right? You love to share the positive things, the good things that happen to you. And I'm sure we can all agree that it's way easier to share things that we're excited about that feel good than it is to share the hard times and those vulnerable moments. It is very hard for most people to get vulnerable. And that's why the picture you see on social media isn't always the full picture. More times than not, you're not getting a full picture of someone's life. You never really will. So you have to keep that in mind. You have to keep in mind that at the end of the day, what do you want? For most people, they're just focused on painting the picture of the beautiful life, of the huge income, of hitting their goals. For me, the reason that I choose to share a lot of those vulnerable moments and setbacks and try to teach lessons from it is because what I want most at the end of the day is to help other people grow and build prosperous lives. And not everyone has that goal or keeps it in mind when they're posting on social media. So keep that in perspective for yourself because it's super important. You're not getting the full picture, so it's really hard to compare yourself to something that has been curated. And the reason why it's so important to keep that perspective is because comparison really drains your energy. And energy is your most powerful, greatest currency. You have to protect your energy. And so I want to give you permission right here, right now, that if you are following someone on social media and you're continuously comparing yourself to them and it's making you feel inadequate, it's making you second guess what you're doing, unfollow them. Until you've gotten over this mindset hump, until you've figured out how to deal with comparison, it is not healthy for you to be seeing their stuff. You do not need it. Protect your energy at all costs. And another thing with that is that, I need you to know just because she has that thing that you really want, it doesn't mean that you can't have it too. In fact, it's a sign that it's possible for you and that you can have it. When I made the switch from feeling envious of other people and asking why her, why not me, what is she doing that I'm not doing, to switching it and taking it as proof that it is possible for me, that I can have similar results, everything changed. And of course, I still have moments of doubt or that old way of thinking creeps in, but I just have to remind myself of the truth. That's that. You have to make that mindset switch, but it's okay and it's going to take time for you to get there. So in the meantime, go ahead and mute those people. Stop watching their stuff. It's not helping you get over it. And it's not healthy to continue to compare yourself to them. You're not going to get to where you want to be doing that. This next point is super interesting, and it's something that I might do a full episode on. So if you want it, message me on Instagram and let me know that you want to hear a full episode on this. But it's the notion that everything is a mirror of yourself. And the laws of mirroring say that what you see in others is your own reflection. Other people are your mirror, and they reflect your unconscious and subconscious mind, your patterns, your fears, and your dreams that you haven't yet activated. So, with this topic of comparison, it's usually seeing people live out your dreams and do the things that you want that can make you feel envious or just some type of way. And so when you see someone take a step outside of their comfort zone to do something new, or they achieve something and it makes you feel uneasy or envious, it's meant to be a wake-up call for you. It means that you can do it yourself, but for some reason you're not. You're not taking the steps to get there. Other people show us what can be done, and they also motivate you to take the first step. But you have to have that mindset flip first. You have to know that that's what's happening. and take it in that positive way, take it in the way that will motivate you and push you to get there too, not in the way that drags you down and makes you feel like it's already been done, or I'm not as good as her, I don't have XYZ. You can't compare yourself. You haven't built up those skills that help that person get there. You haven't gone through the same experiences, the same trials that help them get there. But it's just a fact, right? You know you haven't been through the same things. You are not the same person as they are. And so you have to take your own journey there. Again, if you want to hear more about that topic, message me, let me know you want that to be a full episode, and I will dive deeper into it. It's super interesting. But I want to close this out with an analogy that I read about online, and I think it'll really help you be able to hang on to some perspective on comparison and how to overcome it. And it said, everyone's life is like a uniquely written novel that remains unfinished until we die. And that a book is much like human life. And it has many elements of development that mimic the growth of an apple tree. So, in this analogy, the seed being planted is the beginning of your story. The budding plant, the little sprout that comes out, is you as the protagonist. And just in case you skipped English class, the protagonist is just the main character or main characters in a story. And then thunderstorms, tornadoes, tsunamis, drought, those are all conflicts that affect you and your story as you grow. And then the full, tall, fruit-filled apple tree at the end of the process, that's you as the main character once you have matured and leaned into your uniqueness, just like I talked about earlier. So the number one thing to understand here is that the seed can't choose where it's planted. Just like us, we cannot choose where we're planted. You will just grow up in the family that you grew up in. You'll grow up in the circumstances that you grew up in. You didn't choose that. Some people are given everything, right? Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouths. Some people grow up very humble. And it's nothing that you did. It's just where you were planted. So it's really important that you don't use that as a crutch, as an excuse not to get to where you want to be. That can't be the reason that you don't achieve your dreams. That was out of your control. Every decision you make after that, that is fully within your control. And so the next thing is a plant, it can't dodge the danger. That apple tree can't dodge the danger. The thunderstorms, the droughts, tsunamis, tornadoes, they're going to come, and the tree is going to be forced to weather the storms. And we have to do the same thing. When you're comparing yourself and asking, what are they doing that I'm not doing? The answer is that they chose to face their fears head on and jumped into uncomfortable situation after uncomfortable situation. They weathered the storm. They didn't stop after plan A failed, and definitely not after the next 15 either. And most likely, what you're comparing yourself to right now is the result of plan V working out. And you don't even know it. You're just seeing the end result and thinking that it's all come so easily. It's just happened. They just have things that you don't have. That's not the case. And the thing is, too, like, they never really failed, right? Every time you put yourself out there and you try something new, you pivot to that next plan, the next letter in the alphabet, you're inching closer to your success. You're learning, you're growing, you're sharpening your skills that will get you there. If you only ever stay in your comfort zone, asking yourself why they have everything that you want, your story will never progress. Even the people that you think lead perfect lives, which don't exist, they have storms too. They have been through some shit, and 99% of which you probably have no clue about, and you never will. So isn't it so silly to think about that and to compare yourself to someone else's life who is also brimming with struggles and suffering? You need to know that the pen is in your hand. You are writing this story. You have the choice to either sob about where your seed was planted and the storms that have come and go and are yet to come, or you can create fruitful conflict. You can make your apple tree blossom. One thing that involves is throwing yourself into those uncomfortable situations. You have to look at other people's wins as nothing more. Lightning just struck as I'm talking about this. You have to look at other people's wins as nothing more than proof that you can one day achieve similar things in your life. That's what's going to make the difference. So do not compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 10. And remember to just focus on your own journey to success. I promise that's a much better story than the one you're watching. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that this impacted you. I hope that this analogy sticks with you. And share it. This is a message that I think a lot of people need to hear. Like I said, it's something I hear all the time. Share it and help impact someone else's life. That's my main goal, like I said to you earlier. So I'm so grateful every time I see it pop up on my story or I hear your feedback. It really makes me the happiest. And yeah, I appreciate you. Have a great day and focus on your journey, okay? I'll see you next time. P.S. If you love the vibes here and got something out of listening today, please screenshot and share on your story. I'd love to be tagged and hear your thoughts. My Instagram for the pod is @_selfworthclub.